When a 93-year-old man is dismissed from his bagging job at the supermarket, he becomes upset and sets out to seek revenge. Arthur St. John, the market basket stalwart, was more than just a bagger. He was an institution. For 22 years, his friendly face had greeted shoppers and his steady hands had carefully packed groceries. At 93, his age was merely a number. His spirit and dedication were as vibrant as ever. His connection with the community was profound. He knew customers by name, their preferences, and their stories. For many, he was more than just a store employee. He was a friend, a confidant, and a familiar face in a world that often felt impersonal. When he was unexpectedly fired, it was a shock to both him and the community. The dismissal, driven by a new manager's desire for change, felt like a betrayal. Arthur's long history with the store and his unwavering dedication were dismissed with a cold shoulder. As he left the building, he faced a future filled with uncertainty. The job had been more than just a paycheck. It had been a source of purpose, companionship, and a way to stay connected to the community he loved. Beyond the financial implications, the loss of his role at the market basket was a personal blow. It was a reminder of the fragility of one's place in the world, even when one has been a part of it for so long. The news of Arthur's firing spread quickly through the community. Many customers expressed their outrage and disappointment. Some even threatened to boycott the store. The incident highlighted the importance of human connection and the value of experience in a society that often prioritizes youth and efficiency over loyalty and tradition. Arthur's story became a rallying cry for those who felt marginalized or undervalued. It sparked conversations about ageism, the importance of meaningful work, and the need for more compassionate and empathetic workplaces. As Arthur navigated the challenges of unemployment, he became a symbol of resilience and hope for many. Arthur's dismissal sent shockwaves through the community. Customers and employees alike were outraged. Mrs. Thompson, a longtime friend, was among the first to speak out. "Arthur is the heart and soul of this place," she declared. "How can they treat him like this?" Employees, many of whom had grown up with Arthur, were devastated. Despite the support, Arthur felt a profound sense of loss. His daily routine had been shattered, and the future seemed uncertain. As he left the store, he faced a world that suddenly felt cold and impersonal. His first day without work was a stark contrast to his usual routine. The silence was deafening, and the empty space where his apron hung was a constant reminder of his loss. Determined not to succumb to despair, Arthur embarked on a job hunt that tested his resilience. Days turned into weeks, and rejections piled up. Yet Arthur persisted. He visited local businesses, introducing himself and explaining his situation. Despite his experience and reliability, age discrimination proved to be a significant hurdle. The community rallied around Arthur. Neighbors offered support, and some suggested a petition to reinstate him at Market Basket. However, Arthur remained proud and independent. He wanted to earn his way, just as he always had. One day, while walking past the community center, Arthur noticed a flyer for a job fair. It offered hope, a chance to start anew. The job fair was bustling with hopeful job seekers. Arthur approached each booth methodically, sharing his story and handing out resumes. While many admired his tenacity, most responses were sympathetic but non-committal. As the day drew to a close, Arthur's hopes were fading. Then, at a booth for a local charity, he met Maria. Moved by his determination, she offered him a volunteer position. It wasn't a paid job, but it was a start. Arthur threw himself into the volunteer work with his usual dedication. He helped organize food drives, visited homebound seniors, and participated in community events. The work was physically demanding, but it gave him a renewed sense of purpose. A local reporter, Betsy, wrote an article about Arthur's story. The article touched many hearts, and donations and offers of support began pouring in. The charity decided to create a paid position for him, recognizing his invaluable contribution. Inspired by Arthur's story, Mrs. Thompson launched an online fundraising campaign. The response was overwhelming. Within hours, donations began pouring in from all corners of the community. Messages of support and gratitude accompanied each donation, highlighting Arthur's deep impact on everyone around him. As the days passed, the campaign far exceeded its initial goal. The community had rallied around Arthur, showing their appreciation for a man who had given so much. Mrs. Thompson and a group of Market Basket regulars surprised Arthur with a giant check representing the total amount raised. "This is for you," Mrs. Thompson said. The community came together to show their appreciation. Arthur was overwhelmed by the generosity and the sheer number of people who had contributed. He had always been the one to lend a helping hand, and now in his time of need, the community had rallied around him. While grateful for the support, Arthur also felt a burning sense of injustice. His firing was not just an affront to him, but a reflection of a broader disrespect for loyalty and dedication. He decided to take a stand, not just for himself, but for others who might face similar treatment. Arthur began gathering information. He reached out to former and current employees, discreetly meeting them at the local diner or during his daily walks. Many shared stories of Robert's harsh management style, arbitrary firings, and unreasonable demands. Next, Arthur set out to document Robert's behavior firsthand. He recorded an incident where Robert berated a young cashier, Sarah. He also gathered testimonies from customers who had witnessed Robert's rude or dismissive behavior. With concrete evidence, Arthur was prepared to take action. Arthur sought advice from a lawyer who offered pro bono services to seniors. The lawyer reviewed his findings and advised him on the legalities of his plan. With this guidance, Arthur felt more confident and began organizing his evidence. Once the report was complete, Arthur approached Betsy, the reporter who had written about the community's support. She agreed to help present the evidence to the store's regional manager. At the meeting, Arthur explained their visit and handed over the report. Mr. Peterson, the regional manager, expressed concern and agreed to conduct a thorough investigation. Arthur's determination had set the wheels of justice in motion. However, he still felt there was more to uncover about Robert. His instincts told him that the unfair treatment he had experienced wasn't an isolated incident. Determined to dig deeper, Arthur turned to the internet. While researching Robert's background, he stumbled upon an article from a few years back. The headline read, "Local businessman accused of mismanagement and employee exploitation." Arthur's heart skipped a beat. As he read further, the article detailed how a manager named Robert, working at a different supermarket chain, had been accused of unethical behavior. The accusations were serious enough to prompt an internal investigation, but Robert had left the company before any formal charges were filed. Betsy reached out to her contacts in the journalism world to seek more information about Robert's past. Within a few days, she received responses from former employees of the supermarket chain mentioned in the article. Their stories echoed the same patterns of behavior Arthur had documented: harsh treatment, arbitrary firings, and financial discrepancies. Armed with this new information, Betsy and Arthur approached the regional manager, Mr. Peterson, once again. They presented additional evidence, including the article and testimonies from Robert's former colleagues. Mr. Peterson's expression grew increasingly serious as he reviewed the documents. A few days later, Arthur received a call from Mr. Peterson. "We've completed our investigation," he said. "I'd like to meet with you tomorrow to discuss the findings and the next steps." The next morning, as Arthur entered Market Basket, he encountered Robert, who ran past him and spat on the ground before fleeing. Mr. Peterson convened a meeting to address the situation. He announced that Robert had been terminated for his unethical behavior and apologized to all employees and customers who were affected. Mr. Peterson also acknowledged the injustice done to Arthur. He offered Arthur his job back with immediate effect and a formal apology. The room erupted in applause. Arthur stood up, overwhelmed by the moment. As the applause died down, Mr. Peterson continued, "Arthur's actions in exposing these injustices have not only helped us correct a serious wrong, but have also inspired us to implement new policies to ensure something like this never happens again." Arthur's heart swelled with pride. His efforts had led to meaningful change, not just for himself, but for the entire company. Betsy then announced that Arthur's story had gone viral. An anonymous benefactor had donated $25,000 to Market Basket to be used for employee welfare and community programs. Arthur was speechless. His struggle had not only restored his job, but had also brought about significant positive changes. Arthur returned to his post at Market Basket with renewed vigor. The store felt more like a community than ever before. Through his efforts, Market Basket had transformed into a place of fairness, respect, and integrity. What a powerful comeback. Do you have a story about someone who faced discrimination but turned the tables to benefit others? Share your experiences in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. For now, we're signing off. See you in the next video.